Hey YouTube, welcome back. It's Jason here. In this video, I'll be looking at a website that was posted on the Neuron Runner Family Facebook group. Specifically, it was a question from the owner of the website who was experiencing major drop-offs in terms of organic traffic to their website. Their website has been around for over 10 years, and it looks like Google has really impacted negatively the traffic that this website has received. So I was tagged in a comment by another member of this Facebook group asking me for my opinion as to why I think this website has really tanked in terms of organic traffic. So this is not a website that's related to law. It's not a law firm website. It's not a client website. It's simply just I'm just making a video because it's probably easier for me to express my thoughts and opinions over video as opposed to just leaving a text comment on the Facebook post. So this video is probably not going to be relevant to many people unless you are interested in my thoughts on why this particular website has just severely tanked in terms of organic traffic on Google. So it's going to be, this video is a sort of a stream of consciousness sort of video. It's not really scripted at all, but I'll be looking at this website. This website is a French website that's related to an e-commerce store. So the website is called blog.lecomptoy de my French is so bad. I don't even know what that says. But yeah, so you can see there's a blog. This is a blog page, but it's related to an e-commerce shop that sells spices. So it's got spices and vanilla, and so it's a blog that's been running for 10 years, and only up until middle of last year that their traffic started to really decrease, and now with around March has really just gone down to zero. It looks like. So looking around at this, let me make this a bit smaller. Looking around at this website, I've got this translated into English, so the titles and the text might not look very good. The first thing that I noticed is this website has been posting content daily. So every day it comes up with a new article. Maybe I think 3 articles was. Someone said in the comments that, the owner of this website said they post around 150 articles every month, and it's a whole range of different articles, ranging from travel articles, reviews about destinations, to cooking recipes, to a health article, which could be up to 1,800 words in length. But he, for cooking recipe, he spends around 20 minutes per recipe, and the owner is Arnaud. Arnaud, he said that he usually uses the same recipe across different articles. I assume because the recipe is very simple, and he just switches out the ingredient, and that makes an article out of that. So Stephen Jeffers just asked me to provide my thoughts on why this website is tanking in organic traffic. So I had a look at this website and noticed firstly that it's posting 3 times a day. And when I look at each of the articles, it's quite, I wouldn't say it's spammy, because clearly this guy has put in, has written an article, and he's put in some thought into including a video. He's got links, internal links as well, which is good, and he's even got these nice little images that break up he's got one image that breaks up the blog a little bit for, I guess, better readability. He's got titles. So I don't believe the reason why this website is tanking in organic traffic. I don't believe the reason to be technical on-page SEO. For people who don't know what that is, my understanding of what technical on-page SEO is, it's like making sure that the title is H1, or making sure that there's H2 headers as subtopic headings, making sure that there's internal links, making sure that the images have alt text. It's stuff like that. I don't believe it's on-page SEO, because this guy seems to be doing it quite well. Like, he's been running for 10 years, and he's well aware about SEO. So I'm sure Arnaud knows what he's doing about on-page SEO. I really think the reason why Google tanked this website to the point where it's receiving almost zero traffic, even after running for 10 years, the reason is because of the content quality itself. So when we look at this graph here, we can see here around March, it's reached its lowest point right after March. So this is when Google came out with its March 2024 spam update. I don't know too much about this update, but I do know that it's supposed to be fighting spam, right? Google has always been, especially since ChatGPT has come out, Google has always been focused on increasing the quality of the articles and the content that Google is recommending in its search results. And as part of that, Google released the March 2024 spam update. When I look at the spam update, let's have a look at the spam update that what Google said. So it's essentially they're just trying to detect spam in a more efficient way, right? So that's essentially it. So Google really, it's putting this aside. Google wants to provide the best quality content for its users in their search results, because if Google provides good quality content, then that encourages its users to come back to Google and uses its services and search engine more. On the flip side, if Google provides really crappy, spammy, not very helpful articles or search results, less people will be using Google and they'll be going to Bing to use Bing's search engine instead. So, understanding that the key goal for Google is to ensure that they provide the best, highest quality, helpful articles, that really helps me understand. That helps me determine that the likely reason why this website is tanking is because Google thinks, I'm not saying I think, Google thinks the content of each of the blog articles, the content of this blog in general, is not high quality. So to the point where Google actually just tanked, brought the traffic down to zero. So it's pretty severe. So let's have a look at some of these articles and just do a blog audit of these articles and see how it can be improved, where our Nord is going wrong, and really just provide some tips and advice to Arnaud specifically about what you can do better, Arnaud. Again, I'm not here to criticize. I just want to provide helpful tips and value, and really just want to educate. So again, just from my own experience, I'm not claiming to be an SEO expert at all. So first thing, right, I said is Arnaud publishes around 3 articles per day. There's nothing wrong with publishing 3 articles per day. It doesn't impact at all, theoretically. So the frequency of article posting theoretically doesn't impact the helpfulness and value of each article. It doesn't impact it. However, practically speaking, I highly doubt such a high frequency of blog writing and posting will be conducive to writing articles which are of high quality, just practically speaking, because you wouldn't have the time to do that. For me, for the articles that I write for my law firm clients, we spend a whole month writing 5 to 8 articles, right? When I was writing these articles myself, I spent 5 hours per article researching end to end. So not including toilet breaks, not including lunch breaks or meal breaks or a walk out in the park. It's 5 hours per article of researching the topic and researching the topic and whether it's helpful or not, researching what subtopics should be included in the article to make sure it's the most helpful, most valuable article out there, and actually doing the research and writing the articles to make sure that it is phrased so make sure that the writing style is in a really simple way that could be understood, that's helpful and conducive of people understanding what the article is about, right? So that is really the core concepts, which I spent 5 hours per article doing. When I look at some of these blogs articles, taking this topic, for example, the effects of banana consumption on high blood pressure. Firstly, the putting aside the technical on-page SEO aspects, which again Arnaud has done quite well, it seems like, the actual content of this article is, to be frank, not very helpful compared to other competitors. So if I know that this is a French website, so this blog will be competing with other French results. But if I Google the effects of bananas, if I just Google bananas high blood pressure, even comparing it to an English article in Australia, let's just do the top ranking result. So let's have a look at what this article does right in order to rank high and to not be counted as spammy or not helpful or not valuable, right? Again, putting aside the technical SEO, let's have a look at the quality of the content and the information provided, because ultimately all Google cares about is the quality of the information and how helpful it is, right? How high quality is the information? That really is what Google cares about, from my experience. Again, I'm not claiming to be an SEO expert. So we can see here at the very beginning, it's addressing one question, which is, do bananas lower blood pressure? If we look at this one, it's talking about the effects of banana consumption on high blood pressure. For me, as a blog writer, as someone who writes SEO optimized blogs to bring traffic and clients and leads to my clients, this topic is a lot better than Arnaud's topic, because this topic here is specifically addressing one simple question, which is, do bananas lower blood pressure? Yes or no? That's essentially it. Whereas this one is talking about the effects. It's a bit more, it's less targeted in the information that a site visitor will be able to it's less targeted in the content. I understand that the purpose of Arnaud's article is to explain is to really address whether bananas has any effect on high blood pressure. That really, the core of the purpose of this article is to find out whether bananas affect high blood pressure or not. And so, a suggestion to Arnaud really is, for all your article titles, really phrase it as a question, right? Or say yes or no, right? Don't just say the effects of, because people very likely when they're googling bananas low blood pressure or high blood pressure, bananas, the audience is really trying to find out whether it has an effect or not. And so just call it out, just put it in the title. Do bananas do bananas affect high blood pressure? Yes or no, right? Something like that, as opposed so that's the first tip. The second is when I look at this, I guess the ideal example of a article on this topic, it starts off with, when I look at this article, it really, at the very beginning, it just goes straight into answering the question: do bananas help lower blood pressure? And it goes into the answer. We'll also notice that this answer provides references to, I guess, experts and other external content that provides signals to Google that this content here is reliable and therefore high quality and helpful, because it's referencing other experts and links and resources. That is something that I don't believe Arnaud's blog has done. So all the links that Arnaud has included are to his own links, to his own blog or his own website. So I certainly would recommend Arnaud to add in some links or references to other resources that adds credibility to this content. And by adding credibility to the content, Google will then see that this article is more high quality and more reliable, and hence would want to rank it higher. The other thing that you would have noticed is the ideal blog pretty much goes straight into answering the question, whereas Arnaud doesn't really. Look, so Arnaud firstly starts off with an intro about what he's going to be doing, what he's going to be talking about, and then he talks about something else completely unrelated to the topic of the blog, which is plugging his other products like acai and guarana, and even including a recipe for acai. So again, this section here has nothing to do with finding out what the effects of bananas are on high blood pressure. So that's not a great indicator to Google that this article is very helpful. And then again, it also includes a video that's not related as well. It's not related to the topic of this article. So again, it would indicate to Google that this article is not very helpful or high quality because it includes things that are not relevant to the title. And that's a bad thing if it's not clear. That's a bad thing because Google will then think that if we recommend this article to one of our search users, they would not find this article very helpful because it includes a lot of stuff that's not related to what the search results should be including. It's including a lot of stuff that the user doesn't care about, right? And so that's why Google probably, again, I'm just assuming why Google tanked Arnaud's website. So if you scroll down a bit more, the subtopic is then asking, have we heard of the benefits of bananas? So it doesn't really directly answer the question, of what are the effects. So when we look at the content itself, I do want to correct myself earlier, that there is a reference to Dr. Giselle Sion, so to a professional. But again, we don't really know who this person is. I'm not French, so this person might be really famous in France. So please do excuse my ignorance. But it would have been a lot better if there was a reference to not just a name, but also like an article or an external link or a research paper, or even just the title of where you found Giselle Sion's explanation. So that would indicate to Google that it's a lot more credible than just including a name of someone that, again, I don't know, but maybe in France, a lot of people would know who this person is. So when we look at this, this content really is just talking in general about how blood pressure works. It's not really talking about the effects or the benefits of bananas for high blood pressure. So when someone looks at a subtopic, ideally, the content following that subheading should be directly related and answering that particular subheading. In this case, it doesn't, because as you can see here, there's a subheading that talks about the benefits of bananas for high blood pressure, but then the content under the subheading talks about high blood pressure in general, not in relation to bananas. And so I assume that's another indicator to Google that the content is not very helpful or high quality, because the subheadings don't match what the content is. Think about it again. Google wants to provide the best, high quality, most helpful, easy to read articles to their search to their search users, to their customers, right? So now when we look at this website, as you scroll further down the blog, the last section of the blog is when it actually starts to talk about the topic of the blog, which is the actual effects of bananas on blood pressure. So here we could see that it's talking about bananas being beneficial for lowering blood pressure and all that stuff. So that, again, I just want to say it again, I'm assuming what Google is thinking when they tank when they tank Arnaud's website. The fact that it's at the very bottom of the blog article that Arnaud finally talks about the topic of the article, that's an indicator to Google that this is probably not a very easy to read or easy to understand article for their customers and their users. So now let's have a look at this ideal article that ranks number 1. Firstly, they include a direct topic. They first include a very clear title about exactly the type of information or answer that the site visitor will receive when they read this article. Fantastic. Secondly, is they answer the question or the topic very, very early on. Not even halfway down the page, they already start answering the topic. Fantastic. Not only that, they include a lot of links to other websites and resources that increase this blog article's credibility and perceived quality. And not only that, to different links, but also to different research papers and to different studies, different doctors and experts as well. So that's another indicator of a high quality article, which Google would rank higher. Now it's talking about related topics, right? Now that we know that bananas have an effect on blood pressure, this article is now talking about related questions that this user might have when they're reading this blog article. So there's a scroll down, you have some helpful tips. The fact that there's lists, right, itemed lists, 1, 2, 3 is also helpful, because it indicates to Google that that this article will be easy to read and understand for the users because it's got numbering. And they also got an FAQ as well. So and not only that, it's also got a conclusion. It's also got a concluding paragraph, which again I assume would help Google see this article as being helpful, because it provides a conclusion for the reader to really summarize the lessons or the key takeaways of this blog article. So that is really it. That's when we look at the other articles on this page, I wouldn't be surprised if it follows a similar structure to the original effects of bananas on high blood pressure. So this is a recipe. What to substitute for wheat. So again, so this article here has a completely unrelated section and also a video. And then if we look at the topic, what to substitute for wheat flour, ideally this blog should be answering this question right at the beginning, or at the very least above the middle half of the blog article. But as we scroll down, we see that it's talking about the composition of wheat flour, which if someone's Googling or adding or clicking into this article about substitute, they wouldn't really care about the composition of wheat flour. So it's not very helpful. And then we're talking about the different types of flour and their uses. Again, not many people would find this helpful if the person clicked on this article thinking that they're going to find substitutes for wheat flour. Similarly, the technical properties, people don't really care about, because especially if they want to know what the substitute for wheat flour is. When we scroll down, that's when we find the actual answer to the topic at the very bottom of the page. This really should be at the top, and then anything else should be after that. So I really think, and this is to you, Arnaud, I really believe that the way you've structured your articles and the content is indicating to Google that it's not a very helpful or high quality article, and not only that, because you've published this on such a high frequency, 3 times a day, Google has probably interpreted your blog as spam articles, which is why it's dropping. So what I would recommend you doing is restructuring your blog so you would have the topic should always be targeted to answer one simple question or topic, right? Which for this article you have done. What to substitute for wheat flour? That's a good topic. The second thing I would do is answer the question at the very beginning of the blog. You can include an introduction, that's fine, but at the very latest, the second subheading should be answering the question, so Google can see that the site visitors are getting their answers. So Google can see that the site visitor is getting the answer to their question very early on. So they're getting value, they're getting information that they wanted very early on in the article. So I would suggest doing that. Third thing I would suggest is I would not include unrelated text or videos in your article. If it's related, right? If you have products that are selling, if you're selling substitute for wheat flour, then no problem. Include a section about the types of wheat flour alternatives that you have for offer and a link to your e-commerce page. But I would not include anything that's not related to that topic in this blog article. That's the third thing I would do. The fourth thing is, if you are selling things that are related to this blog article topic, I would include this pitch at the very bottom of the page, because people come to your blog to find out what to substitute for wheat flour. They're not coming to find out how to buy substitute for wheat flour, right? And so you want to put so to plug your own products is not as valuable to the site visitor as you think it is. So I would put at the very end. So once you've provided all the value, all the information to the site visitor, so the site visitor is impressed with your information, your expertise, they're satisfied that they now have an answer to the question, then when they scroll down the page, they might be convinced to visit your e-commerce store, right? That's what I would do. That's the fourth thing I would do. The fifth thing is all these different like related topics, but aren't really directly answering the topic itself, like the composition of flour, the different types of flour, the technical properties of flour. I would either include that again at the very bottom of the page because it's not really related. It's not answering the topic. I would either include it at the bottom of the page, or I would not include it at all. I would write a separate topic on what the technical properties of flour are. I would write a separate topic on what are the different types of flour and the uses, and I will link them to this topic about substitutes for wheat flour. Because in the end, when someone clicks on a link that asks what is a substitute for wheat flour, they want to know what the substitute for wheat flour is. They don't care about the composition. They don't care about the technical properties of flour. They might, which is why I suggest putting this at the very bottom of the page. Alternatively, create a new article and then link it, so the person who are interested in this topic, they could see the link in this page, and then if they're interested, they can click onto it. So those are the 5 suggestions that I would recommend you doing. Again, those things might take time, and they probably will take time. So I would also recommend just dropping down the frequency of your articles, because really, again, you want to think about if the high frequency of your article posting is compromising the quality of your articles and the helpfulness of the articles, then the frequency is no longer a positive aspect. It's a negative, and so you want to reduce the frequency. So it's a good balance to have to post. So the first priority is always to post high quality articles, right? If that means you only write once a week or once a month, do that. And then you'll be able to get better at writing high quality articles, and you'll be able to write them faster, or you can hire someone else to do it, at which point you can increase the frequency. But never compromise on the quality and the helpfulness of the article. Never compromise for anything for that. Sorry, never compromise that for anything, okay? So those are the 5 tips. Apologies that this video has gone on for so long. I'll edit it down a little bit. But I just wanted to provide more, especially when someone in the Facebook group asked me to provide my opinion. I'd rather provide a detailed opinion as opposed to a text post. So hopefully this was helpful to you, Arnold. Hopefully this was helpful to anyone else watching this video. If you have stayed to watch the video, I really appreciate it. And yeah, any other comments or questions, just let me know. If you want me to do, I guess, an audit of your blog articles or your posts or your website, happy to do so. And yeah, thanks so much, and see you in the next video. Bye.